very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Stephen George and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Madenge. And now, in homes and hearts across Kenya, millions are preparing for a month of profound reflection, unity and spiritual growth. Ramadan, the holiest month in the Islamic calendar, is on the horizon, expected to begin on February 28th or the 1st of March this year, depending on the sighting of the moon. This is more than just a time of fasting, it's a season of community, compassion and renewal. Families will gather before dawn for Sehri, break their fast at sunset with iftar and join in powerful prayers that echo through the night. Susan Nganga with more.
Kenya and the rest of the world is preparing to embark on a spiritual journey of the Ramadan, the holy month of fasting, reflection, and profound spiritual growth. Expected to begin on February 28 or March 1st, depending on the sighting of the crescent moon, Ramadan unites communities in faith and purpose. It's a time when families gather, friendships deepen, and soul seeks enlightenment through prayer and fasting. But why does the date change each year? Islam follows the lunar calendar, which is 10 to 11 days shorter than the Gregorian calendar. This means Ramadan moves slightly earlier annually, beginning with the sighting of the new moon. Ramadan is more than just fasting. It's a time of reflection, charity, and prayer.
Ramadan is the most blessed period for any believer, and not only for the believers, but for humanity at large. The mercy of the Almighty Allah descends, and Allah wants us to showcase that mercy towards our fellow human being. And that is what the month of Ramadan speaks about. It speaks about obedience in totality to the Almighty Allah and to be in subservience to Him. Remember, we will be fasting and we will be staying away from food and drink and from all of that which break the fast during the course of the day. And it is meant for us to feel the hunger, to feel the pangs of hunger. And so with this comes the opportunity wherein we are being trained and groomed to build the feeling for the fellow human being, and on the other hand to showcase our total obedience to the Almighty Allah.
Leaders are encouraging Muslims to participate in Tarawih prayers and perform acts of kindness, strengthening bonds within the community.
Na umuhimu wa kipindi hiki kitakatifu. Mwenyezi Mungu katika Qur'an tukufu amesema kuwa ameifaradhisha saumu juu yenu kama ilivyofaradhishwa na waliowatangulia, ili mpate kumcha Mungu. Ramadhan si tu mwezi wa kujizuia na starehe, bali ni wakati wa ibada, sadaka, ukarimu na tafakari ya kina. Ni fursa adhimu kwa kila mmoja kujitakaza nafsi, kuimarisha imani na kujitolea katika matendo ya haki. Mnapoanza safari hii ya kiroho, na wahimiza muombe nchi yetu na raia wake. Muwafikirie na kuwasaidia wale wasiojiweza, na mdumishe maadili ya huruma, mshikamano wa kujitolea kwa ajili ya wenzenu.
As the month of sacrifice concludes, joy and celebration await. Muslims will gather to mark Eid al-Fitr, a festive occasion filled with gratitude and love, expected to fall around March 30 or 31, depending on the moon. As the crescent moon graces the skies, we say Ramadan Karim. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
President William Ruto has hit back at the newly formed People's Liberation Party led by Martha Karua following the intense focus on his name and government policies. Speaking in Taita Taveta County, the president criticized the opposition for failing to present alternative solutions to his administration's plans, calling their approach a distraction.
President William Ruto has responded to the newly formed People's Liberation Party led by Martha Karua, which has made his name the focal point of its political agenda. Speaking in Taita Taveta County, Ruto expressed his frustration over what he described as endless discussions surrounding his name by PLP leaders, dismissing their approach as a distraction from the crucial policies his government is implementing.
Wengine naona wanajaribu kukutana, sijui wanafanya mkutano ati wanatengeneza chama. Ile chama wanajaribu kutengeneza, wanaongea masaa manne. William Ruto 4 hours. Sasa mimi nauliza nyinyi, kwani hii chama walikuwa wanatengeneza ilikuwa ya William Ruto? Ama hiyo chama inaitwa William Ruto? Hawa watu ambao walikuwa wanaongea mambo ya William Ruto, mimi sijawatuma. Hiyo chama wanaongelea hapo si ya William Ruto. So hawa ni matapeli. Watafute chama na jina yake wapatiane, sio William Ruto.
He went on to criticize the PLP leaders for failing to offer concrete policy alternatives to his government's agenda, particularly in key areas such as affordable housing, universal healthcare, and youth employment. Ruto challenged the opposition to move beyond tribal politics and instead focus on presenting viable plans for Kenya's future.
Na watafute sera, na watafute mpango, na watafute vision, otherwise wataungua. Bei ya ukabila imeshuka sana, so msijaribu kuuza ukabila, bei ya ukabila iko chini. Tafuteni sera ya wananchi, mtuambie mpango yenu mbadala. Sisi barabara ndio hii tunajenga, yenu mpango yenu ni gani? Yetu affordable housing inasonga mbele, yenu ni gani?
The president also pointed out the significant strides his government is making in areas such as affordable housing and youth employment, emphasizing that Kenya Kwanza is progressing in these areas while urging the opposition to present their own solutions. He further addressed claims of ongoing demonstrations, suggesting that such protests should not be seen as work that warrants payment, calling the actions of his political rivals as mere distractions.
Hapa mambo ya universal health coverage tunaendesha Kenya. Yenu ya mbadala ni gani? Sisi tumepanga ajira ya hawa vijana kwa affordable housing, kwa digital jobs, kwa export of labor, kwa mambo ya manufacturing. Mpango yenu kwa vijana ni gani? Ama mnapanga tu maandamano? Kwani maandamano ni kazi mtu anaweza kufanya alipwe? Hawa watu wanatuhadaa sana.
As the political landscape heats up in the lead-up to the 2027 elections, President Ruto has called for a focus on real issues, urging his critics to present workable solutions instead of dwelling on personal attacks and disruptions. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Kenya must abandon its reliance on foreign aid and aggressively pursue trade and investment to sustain its economy, Prime CS Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has said, speaking in Geneva. He warned that shifting global priorities and dwindling donor funds leave no choice but for Kenya and Africa to chart a self-sufficient path.
Kenya can no longer afford to depend on foreign aid, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has declared. Speaking in Geneva, he urged the country to embrace trade and investment as the primary drivers for economic growth. He emphasized the need for immediate and radical policy shifts to ensure Kenya generates enough resources to fund critical programs.
The era of relying on aid based on the geopolitics that we are now seeing has literally come to an end. And it is absolutely essential that countries, including Kenya, embrace trade and how to attract investment. In fact, we should now be competing. Our strategy, our focus must be how to compete and attract investments. That is the way to go. And shift gear immediately from aid dependency and focus on investments, how to attract investment and trade.
Mudavadi pointed out Kenya's strategic position as an economic hub offers competitive edge in attracting investors. He stressed the urgency for Parliament, county governments, and private sector to collaborate in sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, finance, and technology. The Cabinet Secretary cautioned that nations relying on donor funding must take note of shifting global priorities, especially as Washington and other major contributors withdraw their financial commitments.
Parliament must be quick in decision making in this agenda. The county governments must be quick. The national government as the executive must be quick. And we must now embrace a stronger partnership with our private sector across the board, whether in agricultural sector, whether in manufacturing, whether in finance. We must work as a team and very, very fast, because everybody is going to scramble for these investors.
Currently, Kenya funds only 40% of its healthcare needs. However, with organizations like WHO and USAID scaling back support, critical services such as HIV treatment for 1.3 million Kenyans are at risk. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
Orange Democratic Movement Party has celebrated its 20th anniversary today in Busia County. The ceremony that was led by the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and party leadership as the party joins the list of Kenya's political parties that have survived existence for a period of 7 years. Vice Niam. Okay, Davis Karani, bring us more.
Sema unataka chungwa la Raila.
Hayawezi kurekebika bila ya watu kuketi chini na kuongea.
Toroka wanakimbiana na ODM, hati wamechukua ni chama yao. Wende tuwaone.
ODM sio chama cha maanzo.
ODM!
It was officially formed in 2005 during a referendum process aimed to change the Kenyan constitution, which was then being proposed by the then President Mwai Kibaki and opposed by a section of political leaders led by Raila Odinga, in which the two factions, Kibaki's side represented by a banana while Odinga's side being represented by an orange, symbolizing the no part, rejecting the change of the Kenyan constitution.
Yes, is this? Which is no? No, is this?
Due to the constant and the popularization of the orange side ahead of the 2007 general elections, Kalonzo Musyoka, who was then a member of the orange team, left in what the then ODM members called betrayal, leaving Raila Odinga, William Ruto, Najib Balala, Gitobu Imanyara, and Joe Nyaga in the cold, as Kalonzo Musyoka and Julia Ojambo registered their party as ODM Kenya.
Wale wengine ambao tulikuwa pamoja kwa chungwa, kwa sababu ya kuogopa Kalonzo anaweza kuangusha, walihama wakaenda kwa kitu kingine hajulikani.
Since the Orange movement had become more popular in the country, Odinga and the four other leaders went ahead to register a new political party, ODM, but it had also been registered by a lawyer, Mugambi Imanyara, whom ODM and the five other leaders, including William Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi, and Joe Nyaga, together with Najib Balala, forming a team which then marked the beginning of the Pentagon, as Odinga was voted by a majority of the party's delegates to lead the party in the presidential race, using ODM against Kibaki's Party of National Unity, also abbreviated as PNU.
Today, I hearken to your call and choose to lend my support to my brother, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We are united, we are committed, and we want to be one.
I am the captain, but then I have a point to this evening to my deputy captain, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
Their failure to remove Kibaki from the office brought in division within the strong party, which at some point broke Odinga's political wings, but the party still survived its existence till 2016, when the party's general elections had been conducted at the Kasarani Indo Arena, emerged and destabilized these party's elections.
We will wait for NEC to meet whenever they will meet and the decision of a party on the decision that we have taken today as youth will be reached at that particular point, but we expect that the NEC will be endorsing the position that we have taken today.
Odinga managed to stabilize and resuscitate the party from division, after which ODM participated in the 2017 and 2022 general elections, which saw Odinga lose the presidency, hence making ODM the longest-serving opposition party in Kenya since its formation, as it championed for the people's right while leading the anti-government demonstrations.
Wangapi nasema baba aendelee kushauriana na watu kwanza? Wangapi nasema nipate maoni, sivyo? Tutashauriana na nataka kuhakikisha nyinyi kwamba tutachukua msimamo ambaye italenga matakwa na haki ya Wakenya wote. Hiyo ndio tutafanya.
As ODM party marks its 20 years of its existence since its formation, many still hope that ODM will form government in the 2027 general elections, as this political party leader Raila Odinga still continues with the consultative forums, as he promised the party's following. Davis Karani for GBS News, Busia County, ODM at 20.
We are taking a short break. Keep your feedback streaming into our social media platforms at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. We'll be right back.
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our sins.
지셨고,
he carried our sins.
십자가에 못 박혀 죽어 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고,
and he was crucified and he received the punishment for sins.
무덤에 들어가셨다가,
and he was put into the tomb.
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데.
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap year. When you multiply all these numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun.
AS and A levels is a qualification program that is advanced. That is after one has completed the high GCSE program, then they advise to continue for AS and A level. AS typically is a 1-year program, and A levels is done in the 2nd year after completing the AS level. And this one equips the student with the knowledge that is recommended for the university and also by employers outside the countries or within the country.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back. Former Chief Justice David Maraga has called for urgent action and accountability over the tragic deaths of young people during the anti-government protest in June last year. Speaking at the unveiling of a report by Kituo cha Sheria, Maraga passionately emphasized the need for justice, stating that those responsible for the loss of innocent lives must face the law. Susan Nganga reports.
In June 2024, Kenya witnessed widespread anti-government protest, which unfortunately resulted in the loss of innocent lives. The protest, known as Gen Z, were driven by frustration with economic mismanagement and social issues.
Quite a number of them were lost during those Gen Z protests. And I want to believe that everything is being done for justice to be accorded to those who are victims. We are in a civilized state. We have a constitution that entrenches human rights. There should be nobody who should be killed simply because he has demonstrated. If there is an offense committed during that demonstration, those ones should be charged in court. That's what should be done. Not anybody just being shot and killed or even maimed without due process.
Maraga made these remarks at the launch of a report by Kituo cha Sheria, emphasizing the need for accountability and justice in policing. He refrained from commenting on recent political speculations surrounding his potential candidacy in the 2027 presidential elections. The call for accountability comes amid ongoing efforts to reform the National Police Service. A task force led by Maraga himself has recommended significant changes to enhance professionalism and community engagement within the police. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
President William Ruto launched the highly anticipated illicit Rombo Njunguni Taita Taveta Road in Taita Taveta County. This new road is set to improve connectivity and stimulate economic growth in the region. The project will enhance access to key services like healthcare and education for local residents.
President William Ruto today officially launched the illicit Rombo Njukini Taveta Road in Taita Taveta County, marking a significant milestone in the region's infrastructure development. The project, part of government's broader vision to enhance road networks across the country, aims to improve accessibility and stimulate economic activities in this part of the country.
Hii barabara ni ya muhimu kwa kaunti ya Taita Taveta na kaunti ya Kajiado na sehemu nzima ya Coast Province hapa. Na barabara hii ni ya muhimu kwa mambo ya kilimo, kwa mambo ya ufugaji na kwa mambo ya utalii.
The road is expected to ease transportation challenges for local farmers, businesses and commuters, providing a crucial link between key towns in the country.
Zile sehemu zote ambazo ziko na matatizo, hakikisha kwamba hizo sehemu zote zimerekebishwa. Hata wakati tunajenga barabara, wananchi waweze kutembea na kupeleka mazao yao na kuendesha biashara zao.
President Ruto emphasized that the road will not only promote trade, but also improve healthcare and education access. He noted that the road is part of ongoing efforts to modernize Kenya's infrastructure, ensuring that no region is left behind in the country's trajectory.
I am focused on the transformation of Kenya, on making sure that these roads are built in every part of the Republic of Kenya, on making sure that there is equity and equality in every part of the Republic of Kenya, that we roll out universal health coverage that is going to make sure no Kenyan is left behind, that we have a funding model that makes sure that even children from vulnerable backgrounds have access to education, making sure that we roll out a proper plan on matters agriculture so that we can secure our country and we can eliminate the shame of hunger.
Local leaders, including the governor of Taita Taveta County, welcomed the development, noting that it will have a profound impact on the region's growth.
Jameni, mmesikia universal health care. Tafadhali make sure mmeregister kwa universal care. Make sure Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi binafsi na jimbo la Taita Taveta tumekushukuru sana. Kwa kweli ulikuja tu juzi na tumeona barabara sasa inazunduliwa.
The illicit Rombo-Nzukini Taveta Road is just one of the many infrastructure projects being implemented across Kenya, with the government prioritizing the expansion and upgrading of roads to support the country's economic recovery and growth post-pandemic. Tizatiengo, GBS News.
Kenya continues to enhance its collaboration with Japan, with Prime CES Dr. Musalia Mudavadi reaffirming the nation's commitment to strengthening economic ties through initiatives such as Tokyo International Conference on African Development. Speaking at the Japanese National Day celebration, Mudavadi highlighted key areas of mutual interest including public-private partnerships, infrastructure development, and cultural exchange.
Kenya's Prime Cabinet Secretary Dr. Musalia Mudavadi has reiterated Kenya's commitment to deepening its partnership with Japan. Speaking at the Japanese National Day celebrations, which marked the birthday of His Majesty Emperor Naruhito, Mudavadi emphasized the importance of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development in fostering economic and diplomatic ties.
Kenya continues to value and actively participate in the Japan collaboration with Africa through the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD framework. In August 2024, we participated at the TICAD ministerial meeting in Tokyo, and this year, in August 2025, we look forward to our continued participation.
Mudavadi also underscored Kenya's readiness to address economic challenges and attract more investment through both macro and micro level reforms. He noted the significant role Japan plays in supporting Kenya's development goals, particularly through its official development assistance.
I would like to affirm that Kenya is committed to addressing any existing challenges by undertaking economic reforms at the macro and micro level to attract more investments and deepen economic partnerships.
Kenya's partnership with Japan spans several sectors, including ICT, infrastructure, health, and education. One notable success of this collaboration is the ongoing cooperation between the Japan International Cooperation Agency and the Kenya Medical Research Institute, which has enhanced Kenya's leadership in health research in the region. As Kenya looks forward to further engagements, Prime Cabinet Secretary Mudavadi invited Japanese business delegations to explore the abundant opportunities in Kenya, including in emerging sectors such as agri-processing, financial services, ICT, and green energy.
We welcome them with open arms and encourage Japanese investors to continue exploring the abundant opportunities in Kenya, including emerging sectors of our economy such as agro-processing, financial services, ICT, and the green energy sector.
The event was attended by several dignitaries, including Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, DAP leader Eugene Wamalwa, and the Director General of the UN office in Nairobi, Zainab Bangura. The warm ties between Kenya and Japan continue to grow, with both nations focused on building a prosperous future through continued collaboration. Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
Tensions ran high at Security Baraza in Sega Market, where frustrated residents of Ugenya sub-county turned their grievances against local police officers. Convened by the Office of Ugenya Deputy County Commissioner to address growing insecurity, the meeting quickly escalated into a heated exchange. Locals angered by repeated robberies, accusing the police of negligence, citing an incident where a robbery occurred near Sega Police Station while officers were reportedly on patrol. Allegations flew about law enforcement officials frequenting drinking joints and engaging in extramarital affairs instead of responding to distress calls. The gathering, attended by Ugenya Member of Parliament David Ochieng, saw security officials struggle to defend their position. CA Division Assistant County Commissioner Jonathan Kipto, who chaired the session, faced a hostile crowd with boos and heckles, forcing him to cut short his address. Residents demanded a total overhaul of the police force, insisting they had lost faith in the ability to maintain law and order. The response in response, Member of Parliament urged the officers to take their responsibilities seriously and assure the public that he would escalate the matter to relevant authorities. He, however, encouraged residents to work with security officials by providing information that could help curb crime.
Guinea happens 7:30 running to 8. Nilikuwa nje. Si ati nilikuwa kwa nyumba. Nilikuwa tu nje pale kwa barabara. Kama hii incident ina happen. Mtu alifuata mfanyikazi wa George. Na mnajua no Odhiambo. Kutoka juu, ula anaingia huku na huyu naye anaingia na yeye. Sasa sisi tulifikiria ni wafanyikazi wa hapo. Kumbe walikuwa wenyeji. Na wenyeji, askari alitoka pale kwa supa. Akanipita tu hapa kwa varanda, anaingia huku kwa jirani, anachukua jirani, anaalati jirani. There is something happening there. Jirani akachukua pikipiki mpaka kwa station.
But ni so sad, Mheshimiwa OCS. Wewe ujui kazi yako. Because wakati huo hukukuwa kwa station, mimi nikachukua pikipiki tena nikakimbia mpaka hapa mahali CIDs wanakuanga hapa. Hawakukuwa saa hizo na kila siku wanakuanga pale. Mimi nikachukua pikipiki nikimbia na waite wakuje wasaidie Odhiambo. Hawakukuwa. Saa hiyo kwa station hakuna mtu. Mnyinyi mko patrol, mlikuwa patrol wapi? Hiyo deal sikopi kusema ni kama nyinyi mwenyewe mlijua kitu ambacho ilikuwa inaendelea.
Mkubwa, wewe ni rafiki yangu sana. Na sasa unachomoa waskari wadogo. Shida ni wewe, tena wewe ni baba yangu na wewe ni rafiki yangu. Kila siku nikitoka nyumbani, jioni saa 12, huwa nakupita hapa kwa Odhiambo. Kila jioni, saa 12. Hakuna siku nimepita hapo nikakosa gari lake pale. Je, hii siku ilikuwa wapi?
Senator Mutata's team today visited Kirinyaga, where locals voiced frustrations over healthcare access, heavy taxation, and soaring farming costs. Presidential Exploratory Team Chair Mary Rigu said the mission is to understand citizens' struggles and suggest solutions. Residents lamented shift complications, high taxes crippling businesses, and skyrocketing farm costs that threaten livelihoods. Whether these two spark change remains unclear.
Senator Mutata's team visits Kirinyaga as residents complain about healthcare, farming costs and taxes. Speaking in a consultative meeting with local leaders and residents, Chair Lady of Presidential Exploratory Mary Riungu explained that their mission is to understand people's struggles and suggest solutions.
Na ile kazi tunafanya saa hizi ni kuokota grassroots data collection. Tunasikiza wa Kenya.
Cynthia Kerubo, a student Gen Z, complained that SHA is too complicated and makes it harder for patients to get treatment. Business owners were equally frustrated, lamenting heavy taxes are killing small business and many business owners are barely surviving.
As young mothers in the universities, we all know they're not employed, but we have SHA. SHA ukifika hospitali, mtoto ni mgonjwa, you need to pay. Go back, unauliza mzazi pesa, yet hana job. Where will he remove that money? But you all need to be healthy.
Dixon Mnene, a resident and a farmer in Mwea, noted that the rising cost of dairy meal is making dairy farming unsustainable. Mnene also stated the price of feeds has more than doubled, and if it continues, they will have to quit dairy farming.
Angalia upande ya ukulima kama masiwa, angalia upande ya fertilizer iko juu zaidi. Fertilizer saa hii inatoka ngiri 5.
The ongoing struggles with SHA has left many unable to afford healthcare, leading to tragic deaths. Despite paying taxes, Kenya see no real improvements. Mutata's team is touring the country, gathering concerns to shape policies and influence national discussions before 2027. Whether this will bring real change remains uncertain. Vivian Scalabo, GBS News.
At a colorful award ceremony, 100 students under the Family Group Foundation's Tufuzu na Elimu Scholarships program celebrated a major milestone, securing spots in tertiary institutions with an impressive 87% transition rate. The scholar had not only excelled in their KCSE examinations, but also earned the change to further their education. The event brought together key stakeholders, including Dr. Beatrice Muganda, Principal Secretary for Higher Education and Research, who lauded the foundation's dedication to bridge educational gaps. Among the outstanding beneficiaries were the 4 top scorers who attained straight A's alongside 12 others who scored A- grades. Their journey to success was fueled by more than just financial aid. Mentorship played a crucial role in shaping their resilience and academic focus. Military Wives Association of Kenya Chair Grace Kahariri also highlighted a special partnership that has seen 25 children from military families benefit from the initiative. Family Bank Kuku Belinda Mahaga emphasized that the bank's support goes beyond scholarships, stating that over 300 million shillings has been invested in over 1,200 students since the program was incepted.
We have about 897 students that are in Form 2 because there is no Form 1, Form 3 and Form 4. Fully supported, full scholarship for 4 years, transport, like I said, and other costs are paid for by the foundation. So we graduate over 100 of these every year.
The higher education landscape in Kenya faces challenges such as increasing enrollment with a limited financial envelope. As government, we are committed to ensuring that all students do not lose the opportunities they have worked so hard for. We therefore continue to work closely with our universities and partners like Family Bank to guarantee that no deserving student is left behind. And let me just take a moment to assure all the students who are joining university that we will work very, very closely with the foundation to ensure that you get the maximum support. Nani amewahi hesabu 60,000 just pocket money? Students, 60,000 pocket money? Okay. Make sure you open that bank account before you get into campus, because that is what you are going to get as your...
President William Ruto this whole week has been on a charm offensive at the coastal region, wooing the locals to his side. The president used all means possible to drum support of the youth. On the other side of the political arena, the opposition were organizing themselves with the arsenals aimed at the target. President William Ruto, here is our reporter Victor Odun telling us all the juicy bits that you have missed in our weekly edition of Boomerang.
Ndio mimi ninasema
Boomerang begins in Lamu, where darkness is eliminated.
Mahali ambapo kuna giza tuweke stima, tuweke mwangaza, tuondoe giza, shetani ahame. Si mnajua mahali kuna giza shetani anakaa hapo.
To the mavijana.
Vijana muko?
Are they choosy on jobs?
Ama nyinyi ni wale wa kuchagua jembe?
What was your agreement?
Si tulikubaliana kazi ni kazi?
Sure.
Ama tulikubaliana aje? Muko tayari?
And where are these jobs?
Pale kwa housing kuna nafasi ya ajira.
Next.
Pale kwa mambo ya fishing na mambo ya uvuvi kutapatikana ajira.
Another one.
Pale kwa fish landing sites kutapatikana ajira.
Continue.
Pale kwa special economic zone kutapatikana ajira.
Count them all, Mr. President.
Pale kwa mambo ya ICT na digital jobs kutapatikana ajira.
Will the job look for me?
Lakini hiyo ajira haiwezi kuja kukutafuta nyumbani kwako.
You mean the vijana must show up for the jobs?
Lazima ujitume kutoka nyumbani uende utafutane na hiyo nafasi ya kupanga ajira na kuwa mmoja wao wa kufaidika na hiyo kazi. Vijana wa hapa mtajituma ama mtangojea manyumbani kwenu? Mutajituma. Sikizeni my friends. Musiniangushe.
Boomerang is now in Nairobi from Narc, Kenya to People's Liberation Party PLP. And the Wamunyoros had their day. Listen first. Rigiji, tear the president's scorecard.
Nothing is working. And the 2 years has been nothing but a package of lies and lies and lies.
Nothing to write home about.
Hii jamaa tangu nizaliwe mimi Rigiji sijaona mtu muongo kama hiyo ile Ruto.
Ati mpango yao yote eti ni kumuondoa Ruto.
Huyu mtu anakudanganya na amekuangalia.
Hawana mpango nyingine yoyote.
So many people have tried to blame me kutoka nyumbani. Wewe ulituletea huyu mtu ukasema ni mzuri, unamjua, atatuweka pesa mfukoni. Instead ile kidogo ilikuwa kwa mfuko amefanya nini? Sasa watu wananiingilia, wananipigia kelele, lakini mimi najitetea.
And here is Rigiji's resume.
Mtu tu alizaliwa pale wa Munyoro, amesoma hapo, ni mtu hana mpango yote, sijasoma sana, sina PhD, sina master, sina nini, mtu tu ya kawaida.
Mr. President, wherever you are.
Hawana sera, hawana mpango, hawana maoni, hawana maono, hawana chochote.
Rigiji, you agree you have nothing?
Mimi nasema sasa, mimi ni mtu ya kawaida tu. I'm just an ordinary Kenyan.
Son of Sugoi, who are these guys disturbing you?
Na msiwajali wale matapeli, wale wachache ambao hawana mpango.
Oh my God, Rigiji was shortchanged.
Lakini kama huyu mtu anaweza danganya mabishop ambaye wamemwagiliwa mafuta na mareverend na mapasta, Rigathi Gachagua ni nani?
John Methu wraps it.
Mimi naitwa Senator John Methu, ni Getungati na mimi ni mtu ya Munyoro na ndio maana tumeleta wa Munyoro. Ile answer watu ya Kenya wanagoja ni Ruto must go.
Remind us how Ruto crams and sings the roads he launches.
Barabara itaanza Mandera, iteremuke Modagashe, iende Samatar, ifike hapa Koturo, ifike Isiolo, ifike mpaka hapa Nairobi. Nyinyi mnakumbuka?
Payback time. This is Ruto's retirement route planned in advance.
Sasa barabara yake na safari yake 2027 barabara ianze State House, iende Westland, ifike Naivasha, iende Nakuru, iteremuke Sarga, iende mpaka Eldoret, imalizikie Sugoi, aende asiende.
Niwaambie wale mwenye kuweka viongozi na kuwaondoa ni Mwenyezi Mungu, sio nyinyi.
Victor Boomerang.
Hawana sera.
GBS News.
Interesting report by our very own Victor Odun. It is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming in our social media handles at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 21144. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back.
Today, it's that day that I would like us just to have that conversation on monthly matters.
Let's talk of Mama Fua, who like akifanya shughuli zake hapa kule has more or less that amount.
Yeah, so on that part, I would say this. When you are doing your savings, you can have, we normally talk about having 3 buckets. So we will just talk about income, budgeting, saving, and investment. Those are the 4 areas we will look at.
Happens to those like me who are planning to retire early.
We are basically looking at our incomes. We also talk about savings and investment. So those are the 3. I will not add the 4th one, which we all shy of talking about. So I would say it's not how much I am earning, but it is how much I set aside. So
and the question of the day is, can you survive without internet?
Ngumu,
plus kuachilia hizo story tu zote zikupite ni ngori.
Niwaambie ukweli. Like hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushindana nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde uchi. Hiyo huku hatriki kwa sababu sasa like ilikuwa imekiingia kwa kichwa kabisa.
Mimi nimesomea day school na niocha. So kukuwa na simu hadi ni ile katururu, si smartphone, ni ile katururu.
Sasa unaweza kaa holi ya bila simu.
Kuspend hii most of the time kwa simu. Also you need to run skills. So nilikutana na place hapa nikapply huko. And then I started learning skills. Digital skills.
Yes, hadi siku mbili haiwezi.
Kwa wiki naachilia hata kama ni siku mbili ama sometimes na extend tu wiki nzima. Napata shiki simu yangu.
The gift of a man will place you in a company of great men. Neza kufungulia mlango. What 2 things can you never eat for breakfast?
The fact that I started selling art, that's where the interest came in. Yeah, they know, yeah, this thing can pay.
And who has been your biggest cheerleader in your art journey?
My biggest?
Cheerleader. Ule mwenye anakuwa.
Oh yeah, IG, I'm artist Victor Mtua. Facebook is Victor Mtua. Of course, the first time I sold my art at relatively 50K.
Ati?
Time niliuza art yangu like 50K.
Oh, Victor, kwanza before hata uoneshane watu paintings zako, nataka kuuliza if I was to pay you, nikwambie like usiwahi chora tena, usiwahi paint tena, would you? Unaweza acha? You are famous, what will your stage name be?
My stage name?
Ungekuwa pale kwa stage, ungekuwa unajiintroduce kana nani?
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to international news. United States President Donald Trump is set to meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky today to sign a mineral deal. The mineral deal is an agreement where the United States will exploit rare earth minerals in Ukraine without ensuring a security guarantee for Ukraine against Russia. Abdi Hamid reports.
Today, U.S. President Donald Trump will be joined by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and sign a mineral deal. Zelensky is signing the deal in order to repair a strained relationship with Washington and regain Trump's support for Ukraine in the war against Russia. During the Biden administration, Zelensky received billions of military aid that thwarted Russia from gaining more territories and prolonged the war. However, things have changed when Trump was sworn in. Trump desires for the war to end quickly, repair relations with Russia, and regain billions of dollars spent to support Ukraine in the 3-year war. The mineral deal will create opportunities for the U.S. to exploit the mineral resources. However, it will be less advantageous to Ukraine. The deal does not include security guarantees. Trump has stated the presence of American businesses in Ukraine is a type of security guarantee. Trump also stated that the U.S. will contribute to the reconstruction efforts once the war has ended. Trump said the deal will amount to billions of dollars. Ukraine will contribute to 50% of profits gained from Ukrainian natural resources. The deal does not include relevant information of how the revenues will be spent, but it included information that the funds will cover infrastructure for mineral deposits, oil and natural gas. Ukraine hopes that the mineral deal will motivate Trump to provide military aid and security guarantees. The question remains if the deal involves Ukraine contributing 50% of profits from natural resources, wouldn't it plunge Ukraine into bankruptcy? Will the American people benefit from such a deal? Will the presence of American businesses deter Russia from further attacking Ukraine? Today's meeting between the two leaders will determine the future of Ukraine and Russia. This is Abdihamid Ali, GBS News.
A California judge has halted a controversial plan by the Trump administration to fire thousands of recently hired federal workers. The ruling blocks the U.S. Office of Personnel Management from executing mass layoffs across federal agencies.
In a significant legal setback for the Trump administration, a federal judge in California has put the brakes on a proposed plan to dismiss thousands of newly hired federal workers.
The ruling came after the U.S. Office of Personnel Management attempted to execute the layoffs, claiming authority to reduce the federal workforce across various agencies. The judge determined that the OPM does not possess the legal power to mandate these widespread firings, siding with the plaintiffs who argued that the plan violated civil service laws. This decision comes as the administration pushes for broader government reforms, including trimming the federal workforce, a move that has faced considerable pushback. The case has raised concerns about the future of federal workers' rights and the administration's approach to reducing government size. As it stands, this ruling prevents the OPM from implementing the controversial plan, at least temporarily. The government has not yet indicated whether it will appeal the decision. For now, thousands of federal employees remain secure in their positions and the legal battle continues to unfold. Reporting for GBS News, Irene Juguna.
The United States Embassy in Bangkok has issued a security alert for U.S. citizens in Thailand. This alert comes after Thai government deported Uyghurs to China. Similar deportations in 2015 resulted in a deadly bomb attack. Meanwhile, in Japan, innovators have created an artificial intelligence robot that provides care to the elderly. Countries like Japan is seeing an increase in the aging population, facing a shortage of care workers. In North Korea, leader Kim Jong-un launched a nuclear readiness test. The leader stated that the test was a warning to enemies of North Korea, while a deadly bomb blast in northwestern Pakistan has resulted in the deaths of 6 people during Friday prayers. Here is more on the scene.
Today, the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok has issued a security alert to U.S. citizens in Thailand following the deportation of Uyghurs back to China. Back in 2015, a similar deportation has resulted in an attack at the Erwan Shrine, killing 20 people and injuring 125. The Erwan Shrine is a tourist destination that many Chinese nationals visit. The UN Human Rights Commission condemned Thailand for the deportation of 48 Uyghurs to China. Human rights experts have warned Thailand that by sending the Uyghurs back to China, they may face the wrath of torture from the Chinese government. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio shared the sentiment with UN Human Rights Commission. The UN and the US government have long accused China of committing ethnic cleansing against the Uyghurs. The 48 groups of Uyghurs came to China in 2014. Initially, there were 300 in the group. Some were taken by Turkey and others were deported back to China. Both China and Thailand have stated that the deportation of the 48 Uyghurs were in accordance to the international law. Meanwhile, in Japan, tech innovators have created an artificial intelligence robots that will provide care to the elderly. The artificial intelligence robots, also known as AREC, was created as a way for Japan to cope with the shortage of the working population. The birth rate has been declining in Japan, while the aging population is said to double in the next decade. Even though other countries have larger unemployed youth, Japan's restrictive immigration policy has made the working population to steadily decrease. Shigeki Sugano, a professor at Waseda University, had this to say.
As we are entering a super-aging society and the birth rate is declining, we will need robot support in providing medical and elderly care and in our daily lives. Unfortunately, the current robot technologies are still in a premature stage when it comes to interacting with people and supporting them. The ultimate goal of our project is to somehow achieve that.
Takaki Ito, a caretaker, had this to say concerning the proposed utilization of AI robots in nursing homes.
If such a robot were really created, I think it would be very helpful to us in the field. However, I'm a little bit worried that the warmth generated from human interaction between residents and caregivers and the subtle communication, such as reading the room and understanding the situation, might be difficult to replicate.
In a terrifying development in North Korea, leader Kim Jong-un ordered a nuclear-capable cruise missile test today that tested nuclear capabilities of North Korea. Kim Jong-un has stated that the test was a forewarning to the enemies of North Korean state, even though leader Kim failed to mention which particular country, but for a long time, North Korea has been at odds with the United States. Meanwhile, in northwestern Pakistan, a bomb killed 6 people during Friday prayers at an Islamic seminary. Northwestern Pakistan was a training ground for Taliban, most of whom were Afghani origin. 6 have been killed, including the late son of the founder of Taliban. Police are conducting an investigation into the matter. The recent developing news in Asia raises the question, is the security of Thailand compromised after deporting the Uyghurs? How will the international community protect the Uyghurs who have been facing genocide since 2014? And how will Japan cope with the knowledge that they will be more reliant with artificial intelligence in other job sectors apart from taking care of the elderly population? Will the United States respond to the North Korean cruise missile test? What about justice for the 6 people killed during Friday prayers in Pakistan? Only time will tell. This is Abdi Hamid Ali, GBS News.
And that's all we had for you tonight at GBS News at 9. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again next time, same channel. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Paul Madenge. Good night.